Are you a group insurance practice owner? If you are, today's video is for you. This topic has been super top of mind for me because I feel like in the last coming weeks, I've spent a ton of time with group practice owners, and the same characteristics are emerging. And today we're going to talk about those three things that I'm seeing among group practice owners in the United States who are registered dietitians, owner operators, and in multiple states. So, like I said, let's get to it. So, for those who don't know me, I am Amy Plano. I'm the reimbursement dietitian, and I help dietitians get credentialed, build a shit out of insurance, and scale their practices. And so, for most practice owners, I feel a lot of you guys end up on my doorstop, because you're working your butt off and you're still not seeing the profit you deserve. Or maybe you're super generous with your team, but you're secretly questioning, are you paying them enough? Are they paying you enough? So on and so forth. So today we're talking about the three things I see group practice owners struggling with and exactly my tactical steps for what to do about it so you can stop feeling broke, overwhelmed, and guilty about your own paycheck. So let's get to it. Most importantly, and you guys know who I'm talking to, if you were on one of the calls in the last couple of weeks, profit margins. Okay, so the number one struggle I see you guys, I say struggling with, I don't even think that you guys realize what kind of baseline numbers are, but obviously, depending upon your reimbursement rates and what state you're in, and then your operating cost, good profit margins for a registered dietitian with a group practice are generally about 20 to 40%. And what I have been seeing as of lately for you guys is many of you guys are running group practices where the profit margins are less than 10%. And your dietitians are making two to three times more than you are. So a profit margin under 10% generally, depending upon your top line revenue, probably means, like I said, all of your dietitians are making more money than you. And while we are all for dietitians making money, I want to be very clear. The reality is that when you run a group practice, it is a shit ton of work. And so if you are not making the money you deserve for all of this work, you might as well not be doing it all. So a lot of times the main reason why I see you guys in such low profit margins is I do not really feel that you have a great handle on your revenue versus expenses, right? I see a lot of you guys with subscriptions. You're paying like really high name coaches, supplies, extra staffing, group offsites to do, masterminding, right? All of those things are amazing, but we have to determine the return on our investment for every single expense we have. And while I know in my heart of hearts, because I'm a group practice owner too, we want to be super generous. We want our clients to feel appreciated. But the most important thing you can do, it's like the thing with the oxygen mask, right? You have to take care of yourself and your profit margins first, because if you do not, you will have a shit ton of animosity. And anytime anything goes wrong in your practice, it probably means the amount of money you're taking home weekly, monthly, yearly is decreasing. And that is not cool at all. So, first things first, what are you going to do if your profit margins are under 10%? Okay. First things first, you need to like full stop, immediate, sit down and know your numbers. So, number one, you need to know your true profit margin, not just your revenue minus payroll, but all expenses, all overhead, all benefits, right? I see you guys. I know we want to hook them up. I love it. I want to hook my dietitians up as well too, but those are expenses and we have to make sure that we have specific margins that we're trying to hit. Therefore, we may need to give up some of those perks we're giving our employees. So, number one, understanding true profit margin, super important, right? Numero dos, understand exactly the revenue you are making per dietitian, right? So, I think about a lot of you guys, especially group practice owners, like you have a lot of data. You show me a lot of data, but some of the data shows trends in the opposite direction, but you have a shit ton of data, but you're not doing anything with that data, right? So you really have to understand the revenue per dietitian. So for X amount of dollars you pay them, you make X amount of dollars in the bank account. So really knowing your numbers and your metrics. Number three, on all of the calls I have had this week, in the previous weeks, no group practice owner, and I'm not mad at you. I love you. Love all of you because these are like my favorite people to work with, but none of you guys know what your total compensation package is worth. Okay. So, what I mean by that is we all know how much we pay them salary or per hour, or like we could pull a payroll report. But I think what most dietitians don't realize is that that is only a part of the compensation package, right? Because a lot of you guys are offering amazing benefits, whether it be like 401ks, so retirement, right? Healthcare stipends, wellness stipends. Some of you guys are doing like amazing trips where you're paying for the travel, the food, all of those things. And I love those things, but most dietitians who are offering those, like their top line revenue is not high enough, their profit really is not high enough to support, those team building activities. So you want to go through and look at the compensation package. What do they get? Because when you're hiring somebody, which is what we're going to talk about in number three, we need to be able to make sure that we are presenting the whole package, right? So knowing like every single part of the benefit, so if you pay somebody $75,000 a year, I'm just going to use my practice for example, there's probably like another $20,000 worth of benefits on the back end, whether it be PTO, whether it be technology credits, whether it be health insurance, licenses, registrations, all of those things add up, right? And so super important for you guys to kind of identify those things. So really knowing your metrics. Like I said, a lot of you guys have shown me really fancy dashboards, but I do not think that those dashboards are actually capturing the true profit that you need to be making. And like I said, 20 to 40%, super nuanced, but never under 10%. Because most dietitians are not bringing in like a top line that's like insane enough, where that number under 10% is anything to write home about. So you need to start making money for you. I know it is hard as people that take care of other people, but you're just not funding your practice. It's not your job to give other dietitians jobs. It's your job to create an awesome environment, a great culture, compensation packages that are realistic and consistent with what the market is bearing, but you need to be making money as well. The second piece I see you guys really struggling with in group practice is administrative bloat. Okay. Some of you guys have 3 to 4, 5 administrative assistants for less than 5 dietitians and less than 100 claims a week. So I'm very confused. So it seems like in most situations there is a lot of bloat, right? A lot of extra hands. We think more hands, less work. But often when I look at kind of like the organizational chart for you guys, there's a lot of overlapping tasks. There's a lot of wasted time and a decent amount of chaos instead of efficiency because it seems like there's overlap with the jobs. And so the definition of done is different by anybody else. And so why does this happen? This happens because there's no clear workflows, no task ownership, no systems for checking duplication. So my number one thing I want you to do if you feel like your administrative is bloat, meaning like it's inflated, there is too many people doing too much overlap and not enough prioritizing that what needs to get done, do a time audit. And I know you guys may think I am a sick fuck, but I basically have everybody record their time in increments of 15 to 30 minutes, depending upon who they are. And then I can see exactly what tasks they're working on, how long it's taking them, and more importantly, are they prioritizing the stuff that's urgent and important that moves the business forward, right? So we also want to make sure that there's no redundancy, right? So we have to make sure that there's clear ownership, that each person has very specific tasks. So I would not have a person submitting the claims and then a second person reconciling the claims. Number one, most practices just don't have enough claims to have two people doing those jobs, but you want somebody that has clear ownership throughout the task, right? So we want to make sure that the practice runs efficiently, that the staff feels super clear about their responsibilities, and you stop throwing money at unnecessary help. I feel like for a lot of you guys, your administrative assistants were probably your first hire, and they're near and dear to your heart. And they're probably like the ones that you are probably in closest proximity to because you're working with them, in terms of delegation. But we really want to I feel like I could go into most group practices and streamline the shit out of your administration. You probably won't like it, but your profit will actually love it. In number three, the third thing I have seen in the last couple of months of working with a shit ton of group practice owners who are absolutely amazing is they feel shitty about the compensation they're providing their employees. And remember when I was just talking about most group practice owners do not realize the total benefit package. They might see the dollar amount per hour or the salary, and they may compare what they are paying their employees. Remember, employees are not independent contractors. So they may be comparing their compensation packages to telehealth companies' compensation packages, but they are missing the boat for most of the point because all the practice owners that I've worked with in the last couple of months have been so generous, are so high level in experience that I want to go work for these mofos. Like incredible benefits, incredible dietitians, just feeling like shit because I don't think they really understand how good their employees have it. And so some dietitians will come to me and say, I had this person leave. I think it's because they work for this telehealth company and they're paying them more. Listen up. We got to talk about this. Even if you're paying top dollar, offering perks, shit tons of flexibility, turnover happens, right? And a lot of times when somebody leaves, it's more about them than it is about you. And it is very rarely, in my experience, in group insurance-based practices about compensation. And so turnover will happen. It's not because your compensation package sucks. But let's go back to number one. I need you to know exactly what your compensation structure is because you will probably feel less shitty about yourself if you really understand how much you are actually paying your employees. Like I said, in my practice, if you're making $75,000 a year, you're closer to $100,000 that I am paying out of pocket to cover all of the benefits. So, like I said, you guys kind of need to kind of reframe how you're looking at compensation and also stop comparing yourself to companies where most of the people are operating as independent contractors with no benefits, with no job stability, with a questionable job culture, with no experience or support or supervision. So stop, like right now, if you do any one of these three things, stop second guessing yourself. Your compensation is fair. Your perks are fucking awesome. I'm coming to work for you. Your culture, fucking love it. Like, I just love it. Absolutely love it. Every single dietitian that I've met within the last couple of months, for consulting, like insane culture, too good of a culture. So that's what really matters. Own that shit and keep that shit up because you guys are doing a fucking good job. And I'm here to tell you that. Okay. So let's recap. Okay. This is super top of mind for me because I have been working with a ton of you guys who own group practices. The three things I see you guys doing, and I need you to stop right now, are not knowing your metrics, So not knowing exactly what your compensation packages look like, allowing the practice to run on super shitty low margins under 10% when some of you guys are making 2 to 3 times less than what your highest earning RD is, and you guys are busting your balls to satisfy the dietitians. Number two, clean up your administrative bloat, right? I've never met a practice so fucking busy that they need more than 2 administrative assistants. I'm going to say it. You're probably going to throw shade. You're going to be mad at me. But a lot of times, if you have more than two and you even have like a giant team, there's probably some inefficiencies. There's probably more downtime than there needs to be. So let's talk about that. And then number three, own your shit. You guys are fucking awesome. Stop questioning your compensation packages. Start realizing your fucking awesomeness as a boss, as an operator, as a CEO. Go back and look at all of those perks, right? Go back to number one, because I think that will change the game. Like I said, a lot of you guys think you're underpaying. Your employees. And I hate to say it, and I don't mean to be a jerk, but most of you guys are paying them exactly what they're worth based on their experience, right? And our job, remember, is very different in group practices than if we are working along colleagues who are independent contractors. So I need you to grab your crown. I need you to straighten it. I need you to know your numbers, right? I need you to spend Fridays, call it financial Fridays, know your metrics inside and out, okay? Your profitability in most of your practices needs to be above 10%, right? Because even if you're making $1 million, which a lot of you guys are, I know people want to say that. I don't know anybody that has a practice. I know lots of fucking dietitians that are making $1 million top line. But why that doesn't matter at all is because their profit margins are under 10%, right? They're making under $100,000 a year. Okay. End of story. Full stop. We need to talk. Okay. So that is the T. Like I said, super top of mind for me because I've been talking to a lot of you guys, kind of leaving the calls, kind of scratching my head. So I thought I would make this video. As you guys know, I run a pretty epic hiring program. I don't think most of you guys know that. You guys know me as the Reimbursement Dietitian, but we're going to drop the link below this video. If you go to thehiringdietitian.com, you'll see my mug, minus this serious, probably sweater vest situation. We drop videos every single week. So if you like what you heard and you learned a lot, hit the subscribe button. And I promise we will be here next week chatting about a different topic about dietitians in insurance-based practices making fucking money. Peace.